UK adults get 57% of calories from ultra-processed foods, the highest in Europe. Most supermarket bread contains 23 ingredients. Bread needs just 4. These 8 brands are different. They use real ingredients and proper fermentation with nothing hidden. Let's find your healthiest bread. Starting at number 8, Aldi proves budget doesn't mean compromise. Their specially selected white sourdough sits on shelves nationwide. Affordable, accessible, and surprisingly clean. Here is what sets it apart from standard supermarket bread. The ingredients are wheat flour, water, rye flour, salt, and fermented wheat flour. 5 ingredients, no oils, no emulsifiers, no preservatives extending shelf life artificially. That fermented wheat flour signals actual fermentation, not the instant yeast most supermarkets use to speed production and cut costs. Most cheap bread contains palm oil, rapeseed oil, soya flour, and a cocktail of E numbers that maintain texture during transport. Your body does not recognize these synthetic compounds as food, and they can trigger inflammatory responses with every slice. Aldi stripped all that away. The rye flour adds depth and supports natural fermentation. Traditional bakers have used rye for centuries because it creates the acidity genuine sourdough needs. No added sugars hiding under names like dextrose or barley malt extract. Just grains, water, and salt, doing what they have done for thousands of years. Now, this is not fully traditional sourdough. Proper artisan bakeries use even fewer ingredients and longer fermentation times. But for a supermarket option available everywhere, Aldi delivers remarkable quality at their price point. Independent testing shows no unnecessary additives. The label matches what is inside, rare honesty in industrial baking. For families wanting cleaner bread without specialist bakery access, this represents one of Britain's best supermarket options. But if Aldi can do this much at their prices, imagine what happens when supermarkets charge premium rates. At number 7, Tesco's finest range attempts premium sourdough with mixed results. It is available in every Tesco nationwide. The gold packaging suggests quality, but does the ingredient list deliver? Here is what is actually inside. Wheat flour, water, rapeseed oil, rye flour, fermented wheat flour, salt, ascorbic acid, and rice flour. 8 ingredients, 3 more than Aldi. The fermented wheat flour confirms genuine fermentation is happening. Tesco uses real sourdough culture, not just the name, while adding commercial yeast. But there are compromises. Rapeseed oil appears 3rd on the ingredient list. It is added for shelf life and a softer texture. Traditional bakers achieve that texture through proper fermentation alone. Oil usually means faster production and more time on shelves. Ascorbic acid works as a dough conditioner, speeding up gluten development. It is an industrial shortcut that replaces time and skill. Proper sourdough needs patience, not chemical accelerants. Rice flour is used as dusting to prevent sticking. Harmless but unnecessary in artisan baking. Despite these additions, Tesco Finest remains significantly better than standard supermarket bread, loaded with emulsifiers like monoglycerides and diglycerides, preservatives E280 to E283, and flavor enhancers that your gut struggles to process. You are getting actual fermented wheat flour and real rye. There is no soya flour, no palm oil, and no E numbers that most cheap loaves contain. For Tesco shoppers who want better bread during weekly shopping, this beats the standard range completely. But premium pricing should mean premium ingredients. Waitrose proves you can do better without those extra additives. At number 6, Waitrose No. 1 steps closer to authentic sourdough territory. Their premium range sits in stores nationwide, and it has a higher price point than standard supermarket bread. This time, the ingredients justify it. Here's what makes the difference. Wheat flour, water, rye flour, wholemeal rye and wheat, and salt. 5 ingredients. Nothing synthetic. No rapeseed oil extending shelf life, no ascorbic acid speeding production, no commercial yeast hiding behind vague yeast listings. Independent research confirms Waitrose uses natural fermentation without industrial shortcuts. That is remarkable for supermarket-scale production. The wholemeal rye and wheat adds nutritional complexity traditional bakers prize. You are getting whole grains with fiber, minerals, and beneficial compounds white flour processing destroys. The rye content supports the sourdough culture naturally, proper acidity development without chemical intervention. What is notably absent matters more than what is present. No emulsifiers, no preservatives, no dough conditioners, no processing aids most supermarkets consider essential. Children eating standard supermarket bread 2 times a day consume thousands of unnecessary chemical exposures yearly. Waitrose eliminates that concern entirely. This represents what supermarket sourdough should be: minimal ingredients, real fermentation, zero compromises for convenience. For shoppers with Waitrose access wanting genuinely cleaner bread during regular shopping, this delivers properly. Still, it is supermarket production. Batch sizes are massive. Fermentation times are shorter than artisan bakeries allow. But if Waitrose can eliminate additives entirely whilst maintaining nationwide distribution, M&S is about to show you do not need any oils or conditioners at all. At number 5, Marks & Spencer's collection range enters proper territory. Their crafted signature sourdough appears across Marks & Spencer stores nationwide. Premium pricing, and this time they have earned it. Check the label. 9 ingredients, but here is the twist. Every single one is grain, water or salt. Nothing else. No oils, no ascorbic acid, no E numbers, 0 synthetic shortcuts. That wild farmed wheat flour comes from regenerative agriculture and sustainable practices. Marks & Spencer are choosing better sourcing over cost-cutting. The malted grains add natural enzymes traditional bakers have used for centuries, giving depth of flavor without chemicals. Wholemeal wheat flour boosts fiber. Sea salt instead of industrial refined salt. Attention in every detail. This is the first supermarket option genuinely approaching artisan quality. Nothing exists purely for shelf life or production speed. Marks & Spencer proves supermarket bread does not require industrial shortcuts. You can scale up whilst maintaining integrity. For shoppers wanting the absolute best supermarket sourdough available nationwide, this represents the pinnacle. But supermarkets still cannot match what proper bakeries achieve. Britain's artisan bakers are about to show you what bread looks like when heritage matters more than distribution. At number 4, we leave supermarkets behind and enter true artisan territory. Hobbs House Bakery operates from the Cotswolds and Bristol with selected independent stockists. Family run since 1920. Over a century of baking heritage without corporate ownership. Here is where real bread begins. Organic wheat flour, water, sea salt, sourdough starter. 4 ingredients, nothing else. This carries the Real Bread Loaf mark, a certification guaranteeing no commercial yeast, no additives, no processing aids whatsoever. Independent verification of what the label promises. Every ingredient is certified organic. The wheat comes from farms avoiding synthetic pesticides and herbicides that contaminate industrial flour supplies. You're getting grain grown properly, milled properly, fermented properly. The sourdough starter is maintained daily. A living culture containing wild yeast and beneficial bacteria, it develops flavor complexity over days, not hours. No oil softening texture artificially, no ascorbic acid accelerating gluten development, no shortcuts anywhere. Traditional long fermentation breaks down gluten naturally, making the bread easier to digest than supermarket loaves rushed through production. The difference is tangible. Proper crust, open crumb structure, complex flavor developing from fermentation, not additives. Hobbs House proves commercial success does not require ingredient compromises. They supply restaurants, hotels, and shops while maintaining absolute standards. For anyone within reach of their locations, this represents bread as it should be: pure, traceable, uncompromised. But if Cotswold tradition impresses you, East London is doing something equally special with even more whole grains. At number 3, E5 Bakehouse brings East London grit to traditional baking. They operate from Hackney with selected stockists across London. Community-focused, fiercely independent, Real Bread campaign certified. The ingredients tell everything you need to know. Organic wheat flour, partly whole grain, water, sea salt, and sourdough starter. 4 ingredients with extra nutritional punch. That whole grain element changes the equation completely. You're getting the bran and germ that white flour processing removes. More fiber, more minerals, more vitamins, more beneficial compounds supporting gut health. The organic certification guarantees flour from pesticide-free wheat. No glyphosate residues survive into your bread, as happens with contaminated conventional supplies. Real bread certified means absolutely zero commercial yeast, zero additives, zero processing aids, just flour, water, salt, and thyme. The sourdough starter is wild, captured from the bakery's own environment, a unique microbial community you won't find anywhere else. This creates a flavor profile industrial bakeries cannot replicate. Long fermentation develops natural acids, making nutrients more bioavailable. Your body actually absorbs more from properly fermented bread than from quick-rise supermarket versions. E5 Bakehouse also prioritizes sustainability throughout their supply chain. Renewable energy, minimal waste, direct relationships with organic farmers. This represents modern artisan baking done right. Traditional methods meeting contemporary values without compromising either. If partly whole grain delivers this much, wait until you see what happens when bakers use wholemeal as the first ingredient. At number 2, Natural Bread from Oxford takes everything up another level. They operate across the Oxford region through their own shops and local markets. Small scale and uncompromising. Real bread certified. Here is why wholemeal changes everything. The ingredients are wholemeal wheat flour, water, sea salt, and sourdough starter. 4 ingredients with wholemeal listed first. That matters enormously. Wholemeal means the entire grain, bran, germ, and endosperm. Nothing is removed. It preserves maximum fiber, minerals, and vitamins that white flour processing destroys. The bran provides prebiotic fiber, feeding beneficial gut bacteria. The germ contains healthy fats, vitamin E, and B vitamins. You are getting the complete nutrition bread should provide. Real bread certification guarantees no commercial yeast, no additives, and no processing aids. Pure traditional sourdough fermentation. The sourdough starter breaks down phytic acid, a compound in whole grains that blocks mineral absorption. Proper fermentation makes iron, zinc, and magnesium more bioavailable than standard wholemeal bread. Long fermentation also breaks down complex carbohydrates, reducing blood sugar spikes compared to quick-rise bread. Natural bread refuses every industrial shortcut. No oils, no conditioners, no enzymes. Nothing accelerates production or extends shelf life artificially. This is bread providing genuine nutrition, not just calories. Every slice delivers fiber, minerals, and beneficial compounds that support long-term health. For Oxford area residents wanting the absolute nutritional maximum from their bread, this is unbeatable. But there is one bakery that has stripped bread down to its purest possible form. The name alone tells you everything. Taking the top spot as the absolute best bread you can eat in Britain, Flour Water Salt from Northern England. The name is not marketing, it is literally the recipe. Wheat flour, water, salt, sourdough starter. 4 ingredients, nothing else, ever. This is bread in its purest form. Humans have baked it for thousands of years, long before corporations added oils, conditioners, preservatives, and chemicals nobody needs. The wheat flour comes from traceable sources. The water is filtered, the salt is unrefined. The sourdough starter is maintained daily with absolute precision. No compromises anywhere, no commercial yeast accelerating production, no ascorbic acid conditioning dough, no oils extending shelf life. Nothing. Traditional long fermentation, sometimes 24 hours or more, develops complex flavor you cannot achieve through additives or shortcuts. Natural acids, beneficial bacteria, proper gluten development. The result is bread that is easier to digest, more nutritious, and infinitely more flavorful than anything industrial bakeries produce. Flour Water Salt proves you do not need anything beyond 4 ingredients to create exceptional bread. Everything else is corporate cost-cutting or shelf life extension disguised as improvement. For anyone within reach of their Northern England locations, this represents the pinnacle. Bread exactly as it should be, without a single unnecessary addition. 4 ingredients, traditional methods, nothing hidden. This is what bread looked like before supermarkets compromised it. There you have it. 8 UK bread brands actually worth eating. From supermarket options to artisan perfection. Remember, always check the back of the loaf and choose the shortest ingredient list possible. If this helped you find better bread, like the video, comment which brand you will try first, and subscribe for more honest food investigations.